Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining in. Today's webinar is on Approach to Deception Technology Honeypot Systems. I would like to introduce our company, CyberSRC Consultancy. CyberSRC Consultancy LLP forays into domains of cybersecurity, information security, assurance, and governance. Our aim is to assist enterprises and small businesses and enhance their capabilities for cybersecurity defense, minimize enterprise risk, manage security operations, and achieve regularity compliance. Our team consists of successful and experienced consultants and advisors. We have collaborated with multi-partners in order to provide support for end-to-end security solutions and implementation support. The agenda for today's webinar is highest threat faced by organization, current solutions used in industries, deception as remediation, how deception is used in industries, how we can help you in it, supported platforms, dashboard visual. Today's speaker for the session is Rishabh Bhoming, Senior Security Analyst. He's also the lead developer of this project. Now I would request Rishabh to proceed further with the session.
Thank you, Savita, for introducing me. So, hi guys, I'm Rishabh, and I am here to present this webinar on approach to deception technologies Honeypot system. So, before starting, you may ask that what is deception technology? So, in layman's language, let me explain it to you. Deception technology is a technology used to confuse or divert the attention of our adversaries from our weak points. In a simpler way, it was used in many areas, like in a cybersecurity, we can use in a way which I am going to present you. So let us begin. So currently, the organizations are seeing many threats, facing many threats. With a growing connection globally, IT industries are facing more and more challenges towards keeping them and their data secure. Some of those challenges are ransomware attacks, with the attacker will encrypt the critical files of an organization and demand a ransom so that the organization can decrypt them and start working again. IoT attacks, where attacker will attack the IoT endpoints of an organization to create chaos in their local network. Cloud infrastructure attack, as you may know, many organizations now have a cloud infrastructure. So the attacker will attack their cloud infrastructure or their cloud application to degrade the image of the organization in a public domain. Phishing attack, which is one of the most common attacks seen in many industries, where attacker will directly do some social engineering attack on the organization employees to directly take or get the confidential information of the organization and release them in a public domain or use them in a malicious way. Insider attackers, one of the most dangerous attack for any industry, where a employee will become a rogue employee and directly leaks the confidential data to the public domain. Like any whistleblower attack, you can ask. So with all of these attacks, currently we are facing a global economical loss due to these cyber attacks, where by many economical survey, we can say that $6 trillion per year or $5 billion per month is going in loss. And by this, we can say that 19 lakhs dollars per second are going in loss due to these cyber attacks. So that's why we can take an example of few recent attacks on many organizations like Paytm data breach attack or Dr. Pathlab data breach attack, where the confidential data, or you can say that the confidential customer data was leaked in a public domain. And here, please note that these attacks were possible to be prevented if proper cybersecurity measures were implemented. So, by all these attacks and all these risks associated, currently we are seeing that the global cybersecurity spending is constantly increasing. By the economical survey taken by the Forbes, we can see that from year 2017 to year 2026, there is estimated growth of 86% or equivalent of $125 billion in global cybersecurity spending alone. So that's why companies use many of the security solutions. Let's see one of the some of the security solutions here. Like the security solutions are like predictive analysis, where we use security solutions like SIEM to take logs from different infrastructure endpoints or different user logs and to currently analyze that where our weak points are. Back we also do take the backup of critical data so that in case we are we get attacked by a cyber attack, we will directly deploy a secondary site so that we can work again with full manner. Network segregation in this area, we segregate the network into smaller network segments so that we can reduce the attack surface. And the most common one is the training campaign, where we are training the most weakest component of our organization, which is a human component, so that the employees of the organization can know much more better way how to protect themselves from these cyber attacks. So, but still there are some risks associated with the organization because current solutions presently used by the industry do not provide a real-time analysis. Here, none of the solutions will analyze the attack scenario for real-time analysis and also protecting the server alongside. These solutions also have few loopholes that led to false positive alerts, creating ambiguity. So that's why security solutions like deception technologies come to the picture, where majority of these risks are mitigated. So let's see some feasibility of these honeypot system, or you may call them deception technologies. So here is the statistics of an attack detected by honeypot system during a short time period. These statistics were recorded by Chbosky Institute of US Naval Postgrad School and Project Honeypot, which is an open source project for honeypot systems. Here we can see that more than 1 million attacks of credential brute forcing were attempted to guess the password and take and log into the system, where attack origins were more than 7 lakhs were originated from China alone, and more than 3 lakh attacks were originated from USA alone. Here also we can say that they were also using command brute forcing attacks, where they were injecting commands to gain shell of these applications, and 51,410 commands were injected on these applications alone in a short time period, less than a week. So with all of this information, let me present you a better remediation to the security risk, which is deception technologies. So currently, deception technologies like honeypot systems are used where they are able to mimic like a real server and collect user data information for post analysis. Also, organizations set up these honeypot system throughout their network in many strategic positions so that they can lure out any attacker present in their network for taking actions against any possible attack in the near future. So if you compare these honeypot systems with any other security solution used by industries nowadays, you can say that the honeypot systems are much more customizable in nature, where we can use any type of honeypot system according to the threat scenario of that organization. So let me give you some example, like ransomware attacks and insider attacks can be mitigated by using behavior monitoring honeypots, where these honeypot system will directly monitor the logs of these users, and they can tell that following user is now acting strange. And in the case of IoT attacks, we can use a honeypot system like PodD, which will monitor any SSH based connection. It will give us alert that following user is connecting to our system and this is not an authorized user. And the cloud infrastructure attack, they can be monitored and mitigated by using tools like WAF, which is the web application firewall, and a Cori honeypot system, which is much more dedicated towards web application attack mitigations, where these honeypot will directly tell you that following segment of your web application is much more susceptible to this attack. So let's see how this honeypot system works. So in a simpler way, I can say that a clone server will be established alongside with a primary server. The clone server will be connected with a honeypot system, and the honeypot system will closely monitor each and every activity of the clone server. Also, we will set up a front-facing interface like a load balancer so that any user, malicious or not, cannot see the internal architecture of the network. And following, sorry, we will use a packet filter to determine the packet in, coming in the network are malicious or not, where the packet will be routed towards suitable server according to its nature. Like if the packet is malicious, it will be routed towards clone server. Otherwise, it will be routed towards production server. So with all of these good points about honeypot systems, or you can ask the merits of using a honeypot system. Currently, industries are using honeypot system in various different ways, and let me present you in some of the way. IT industries are using honeypot system for detecting any possible attack on their application. Factories, like many you can see, are monitoring their SCADA devices and ISIS devices for detecting any possible breach in their network. Networking industries like Cisco or any major networking industry, sorry, networking based industry, are monitoring their traffic by using honeypot system and IDS system, like specifically NIDS systems for detecting any network based attack in their network. And financial industries like HFTs are using behavior monitoring for detecting any possible insider attack for them. So currently, let's conclude the merit section and the base sections of the honeypot system. So anyone have a questions on it?
Hi, this is Rohit. I have a question.
Yeah. Yeah, hi Rohit.
Yeah, hi. So you mentioned we need to put in a packet filtering. Can you explain why do we need a packet filtering uh, for honeypot?
Actually, in a most cases, we don't need a packet filtering, but
Mm-hmm.
if you need to create a better cybersecurity solution, you
Mm-hmm.
want that in a deceptive manner. You want that any attack which is coming in your network will be rerouted towards your clone server, not towards your primary server. And so we are using packet filters so that if you are attacking to the network, your
Mm-hmm.
packets which are malicious in nature will be directly rerouted towards the clone server and no harm will be done to your production server.
So don't you think if we put a IDS in the
Hmm,
perimeter along with the honeypot farms and
hmm.
let the attackers interact with it, it will serve the purpose. And if there is an attack which further penetrates into the internal network, the IPS can take care of it, or the even the host based HIPS deployed on the critical servers can take care of it. Then why do we need a packet filtering or routing to a special server for analysis? The analysis will be done by the ITS and further will be dropped or terminated by the IPS and the other mechanisms within the other internal zones of the network.
Yes, you are right on that aspect, but here our as our aim is to provide a deception manner. So if
So
we set
deception
up
is
a idea,
so
yeah,
deception is
let
going
me.
to be deception. Honeypot or honeypot farms will lead to the deception, right? They'll cause enough deceptions. If you have, supposing 100 servers and you put in 20 honeypot devices which are simulating more than 10 devices, they'll create enough deception to the attackers, right? Even when you carry out a pen test, you actually tend to attack a server where you find more services, right, rather than a server where you have just 443 open or something like that, right?
So yes, let me explain in a better way. Like
Mhm.
here we want that the clone server and the primary server are
Okay.
indistinguishable in nature. You can't tell that this is a clone server, this is a primary server. And our objective
Okay.
is that if I am an attacker and I am attacking it, and you are a developer, your main objective here is that my attacks will be redirected towards a clone server, and I will create whatever chaos I want in a clone server, but it
Mhm.
will be contained. So if
Mhm.
we use the IDS and IPS manner, the
Mhm.
IDS will, yes, the IDS will logs uh, my actions malicious, and it will give you a logs, but the IPS will straight away block me. And after a time, I will know that okay, this is the IPS, and I don't want to attack it anymore. But here, your secondary objective is also that you want to contain me in a clone server enough time that you know, okay, this attacker is using these methodologies, and this is how I want to protect my primary server. Here, our main objective is not to provide a security solution in a way that your servers will be always protected. Yes,
Mhm.
our that is our secondary aim, but our primary aim is to create deception in a manner that we can do post analysis or analysis in the real time to see that these are the to say that these are the way this attacker is attacking, and this is the way you want to protect your server in a
Mhm.
future time for better production.
Okay. One more thing, Rishabh, I want to know
Yes.
how will these? I mean, you are talking about which honeypots? I mean, can supposing you deploy, I mean, okay, whatever honeypots you're talking about, commercial, non-commercial, like honeybee, etc. So supposing, they are deployed, what mechanisms are to be put in place so that these honeypots doesn't don't get compromised and are used as further as to stage of attacks into the internal network, right? How
Okay.
because you are allowing somebody to actually carry out, instead of attacking a system A, which is actually a real production system, you're allowing somebody to come to production. You're luring somebody to come to system B and carry out all the mess and waste his time, right? But if he
Mhm.
actually controls the whole system and find out this is a honeypot, will he be able to attack further the rest of the network, or will he be jailed at the same place?
Yes, I'm going to explain that in a future slides right now. So,
Okay,
okay, okay. Let me present you the. Let me move on to the future,
sure,
further slides,
sure,
and where I can present you in a much more descriptive manner, like with a network diagram. Okay.
sure.
Okay, thank you. So, how can we help you in it? So, here our main goal is to provide a security solution with following features: surveillance, attack redirection, and a network mirroring. And here we aim to provide the solution as a honeypot as a service where the client server will be protected under this solution and all the traffic will be accessible for post analysis. So let me say our approach on it. Our just like in the surveillance module, here we have installed multiple honeypot systems throughout the organization network, and where each of the honeypot system will monitor the user activity of that critical module and display it to the centralized dashboard. In the attack redaction, we have installed our packet filters, which will analyze the traffic data and redirect any malicious data to the secondary server instead of the production server to minimize the damage on the production server. And in the traffic mirroring module, we are using network modules that will mirror each and every traffic to our honeypot system for any post analysis or any SOC related activity. So let me present you our solution. The CyberSRC Consultancy LLP has come up with a security solution, which is Honeypot as a service, where Honeypot servers will be established throughout the client network at various strategic positions to provide deeper insight in any malicious user activity. Here, all the Honeypot servers will be connected with a centralized dashboard for post analysis of any activity and any SOC related activity. Also, other security systems like firewall and traffic mirroring will be established as per the client requirement. So let me describe the solution in a proper way. So these two are the clients, and this is the normal user and this is a bad user, and you can see that both of them are connected to with a front facing interface, which is a load balancer. Okay. So uh, both of them are sending their request to the load balancer, and here all the requests will be guided through a WAF, where the WAF will do a packet inspection and check if the following following request is malicious or not. And Rahul, here is your answer. Like, so all the malicious requests will be sent it towards the clone server, which is monitored by the honeypot system, and all the normal uh, requests will be going to the original server, so
Okay.
that we will minimize the damage. And about your question over here, yes, if the attacker gains a cell of the clone server, we are segregating our network in a manner that the original server can interact with the clone server, but we are this is the only one-way traffic over here, but the clone server cannot pivot to the original server, because we have we have segregated the network in a smaller VPCs around here, so that any attacker cannot pivot their cell towards the original server.
So, Rishabh, one question. Sorry, I'm interrupting again. You're getting,
No
you're
problem.
making the, yeah, you're making the WAF,
Hmm.
redirect the malicious data to the clone server. Why
Hmm.
redirect? Instead, break it right away, right there. Why, why can't, WAF just reject the data?
Rohit,
Yes. So
hi Rohit, this is Vikram. I'm sorry to, I know I
Right.
appreciate all your few questions. I would rather request these questions to be taken after the presentation. There is a slot we have kept for the presentation. After that, there's
Okay.
a slot where you can
Sorry.
ask questions. It's just
Okay.
interrupt the overall flow of the presentation. So sorry, we can just take it up after that. Yeah. So,
Okay. Thank you so much. Sorry.
thank you.
Sorry for interrupting.
No problem. Yes.
no problem. So here is also our solution for protection of the critical service. So here we are establish our honeypot system, where to the all the critical servers all the critical services which are used by any organization. So you can see that a bad actor or an attacker is connected towards internet, and he is directly accessing the internal network of an organization through either he have the VPN or he have any he is connected to any front-facing server or a front-facing module of the organization. The front-facing module is also connected towards a honeypot so that we can do a analysis of each and every request coming in the network to check following users are malicious or not, or following users have any intent to disarm, to do any harm to the organization. We are also checking the logs and checking the activities in these critical servers like mail server, DNS server, or our web server, so that we can check if any insider attack can be happening in here, or the bad actor has established any cell over here or not for any future attack he or she wants to do to the organization. So continuing with our solution is divided into two modes: monitoring mode and a redirection mode. In the monitoring mode, we are using network mirroring components so that we will mirror each and every traffic of the user, irrespective of the nature of the user, so that we can analyze um, that following users are malicious in nature, or following users have intent to do any harm to the network. And in the redirection mode, which I have said earlier, that we are redirecting every attack to our sandbox environment, which is our clone server, so that any future attack done on the clone server will be contained over there and the production server will stay intact. So with all of these things, let me present you our supported platforms. Currently, our system is being tested and supported in major clouds environments like Google Cloud, AWS, and Azure. And we have also tested on on-premise systems with many of the configuration in Linux environment. So let me present you the dashboard visual. So this is the dashboard visual of web application request. Here we can see that we are one of the our firewall which is we are using is Citrix Honeypot systems, and these are the logs which is taken in mere 10 minutes, and these are the attacks where we can see that 1900 attacks were registered in 10 minutes with 7 unique IPs all across the world, and majority of attacks coming from the India, and majority of our the attacks were on the misconfigured components in the web application which we have set up. And let's move to the network application request visual. So one of the most prominent system which we use here is the Suricata, which is the NIDA system. And you can see that over 3 lakhs attack were registered with 118 unique IPs all across the world, where majority of attacks were originated from India, but the attacks were either generic protocol corruption, or they were doing attempted information disclosure web application attacks, or they were using they were trying to get a cell to the system by doing some malicious attacks in a manner like nmap attacks or smb attacks or any poisoning attacks. So that concludes this area. So any question now?
So Rishabh, can you answer my question? I think I can ask questions now.
Yeah.
Okay. So my question was with your architecture. Why can't we filter out or reject or deny the request at the WAF itself? Why are we taking it over to the clone server?
Okay, so let me um, like state it like in a way. So see, uh, if we reject any possible attack,
Mm,
yes, our original server is secure, but we may not know how the user was attacking our systems.
okay.
And if any bad actor is using any advanced attack, yes, he will
Mm,
bypass our firewalls to directly do some damage to original attacks. Our main aim here is to learn how these attackers are doing attack to our system so that we can keep all those data and provide a next security like we will give the reports to the client like see, sir,
mm,
here is the in the 7 days following attacks were orchestrated to your server, like these are the attacks. You can say that these are like 3 lakh attacks, and these are like these 10 users were attacking your server, and like user A was doing this way, user B was doing this way, user C was doing this way. See, and if we use WAF, it will just straight away rejects them. And after a time, you can say you can also see that the WAF will directly block their IPs. So they will use any VPN to reconnect then, and in then the cycle will continue again. They will try to do some attack. If they are able to bypass the WAF, yes, it will do some damage to your organization
mm.
server. But in the maximum cases, the WAF will block that IP again and block those attacks again. And you may never know how these attackers were improving. That will create a security hole or security a weak security loop structure of your original server where you never know okay, like where my server was vulnerable and where these attacker was actually attacking what they really want, which is more crucial to them. For you, you may think that these are my S3 logs, these are my EC2 data, these are much more crucial to my organization. But for a attacker, he may think he or she may think that I don't think about this. I want the RDS data. I want your glacier data, and so you never know what the attacker intent was. And by this solution, our main objective here is to know what the attacker motives are, how they are attacking, where we should secure our network in much more efficient way, how to harden our systems according to the according to the activities of the attacker, not according to the best practices according to the industry. Yes, you may harden your server, but it will still uh, create some loopholes which the attacker can misuse. So
Okay. I agree with, I mean, Rishabh, with the approach you have shared. But it is one of the approach, not, I would say, the approach. While if you, I think, if you want to study how attackers are doing, probably you can place of IDS in front of this WAF in this particular diagram, in this concept which I'm talking about, right? And I mean, any kind of attacks emanating, which either are reaching to your, original servers, or maybe your honeypot servers. You can actually study that, and probably then basis that you can actually tweak your or revisit your security strategy or security posture of the organization, right?
Yes, I actually agree on that, but let me state it in another way. See,
Mm-hmm.
ideas is a post-incident analysis tool.
Mm-hmm.
The accident is now done. Attacker is successful. He or she get what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Now we are seeing that okay, this is what they want and this is the damage they have done.
Mm-hmm.
In a simpler way, like the house is burnt now and you are saying okay, they have used here and they have cut the fence over here, they have done this thing. In this way, yes, it's kind of we are using WAF so that if you are attacking in a normal in a generic manner, maximum of your attacks will be redirected towards a clone server and it will be contained over there. So you as if you are attacker, you may think okay, congratulations, I burned the house, but you
Mm-hmm.
never know that it was not the real house. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the much more aspect I want to protect. I want to protect my server, but I also want to analyze their activities. I want to create a area where see, this is my house, this is my beautiful house, this is the area I want to secure, and this is a target, a weak target, but it is identical to you. Attack here and I will study it so that I will protect my main resource. But you
Mm-hmm.
may never know that this is the area which you have attacked was not my main area.
Okay. 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 Thank you, Rishabh.
And any other questions? No.
Rishabh, one more question was there. Sorry, I'm asking you
Yeah,
again,
no
right?
problem.
Yeah. How will you protect the clone servers? How will they, supposing your honeypot uh, deployed server is itself compromised, and the
Hmm.
attacker is smart enough to find out that this is not the real server, this is a honeypot, and
Hmm.
supposedly he gets access, any kind of access, and then he does some sort of privilege escalation and gets a root access, and then then he may use it as a staging platform. So what are the technologies in place so that the honeypot, obviously honeypots are made, will be deployed so that they can be compromised, right, instead of the real servers, and the
Yeah, yeah.
attackers can spend and waste their time, right? So what are the mechanisms in place to confine the attacker to the honeypot itself?
So, as I state again, like we are segregating the network. So, the
Okay.
clone server is one way connected towards the original server. We want to get all of those information how the attacker attacked. So,
Okay.
honeypot system is directly monitoring the system. Okay, that's fine. But this area
Mm-hmm.
and this area is like divided in two parts. This, yeah, this is in a bigger picture, they are in the same network, but we have created a micro networks among these so that the clone server is not directly connected towards. And yes, if the attacker is very professional, he may use pivoting technologies like proxy server, sock server to move to here to there. But we are also securing our original servers with more technologies like IP tables, so that the original server is also contained. The he may not get any shell over there because we are closing our ports and we are we have make sure that every endpoint which we as a hacker know right now is closed, so that the original server is much more protected according to our not according to the industries, but according to us as the attacker also, with our own experience.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Rishabh.
Okay, so any other questions?
So, sorry again, Rishabh, which are the most popular honeypot solutions right now?
um Actually, we are using the like we are using a variety of combinations of honeypot solutions right now in this project. So
Okay. Okay.
like there are many solutions, like Project Honeypot is a solution used by for spam traps, or there are like solutions like Cori solution, which is
Mm-hmm.
dedicated towards web application, or like Citrix Honeypot for which is more dedicated towards the Citrix RC, which is recorded in previous year.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so if anyone is not asking any questions, so I may conclude this as the end of this webinar. So thank you very much for attending this webinar. We are CyberSRC Consultancy LLP, and our office is situated in Noida, World Trade Tower. You may contact us over there, and following is our contact information for us. You can also see our blogs and our much more information about us on our website. Visit us over www.cybersrcc.com. So thank you very much for joining this webinar.
Thank you.